Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be here and I hope you also doing really well. Before starting this video, I want to give shoutouts to INE because when I was learning INE's penetration testing student course, I learned something new and I'm going to share those concepts with you. Let me give a hint. I am not a script kiddie. Yes, I started learning programming language. That too, one of the popular programming languages out there. You may be in network field as a network engineer, or you may be in cybersecurity field as a penetration tester, ethical hacker. Trust me guys, if you learn this, you won't regret it. Today my knowledge sharing is about Python programming language. It is one of the useful popular programming languages. It plays crucial role cybersecurity field, also in networking field. Okay viewers, it's time to learn. I will show how to create a simple penetration testing tool by using Python programming. Actually, our Python code is going to replace one of the penetration testing tools. Okay, let me break the suspense. Most of you have heard the tool name called Netcat. In default, you may find this tool in Kali Linux, Parrot distribution, and other ethical hacking distributions. The Netcat, it is a tool used to listen the network packets and also used to initiate a network connection to server. In simple words, it is a basic network utility. You may see these are the flags which can be used along with netcat command. Let me create a small listener by using the netcat. I'm going to use -l. L means listen mode. It enables the listen mode, and n indicates numeric IP address only, no DNS. So, and V represents the verbose, and P local port number. So we are going to mention the local port number that we are going to use. Let me mention a random port 4888. When I click enter, now my machine is listening for port 4888 on all the network interfaces available in this machine. So whenever this machine gets any traffic for 4888, it will grasp the traffic. And of course, in this case, my machine is acting as a listener for port 4888. So it is acting like a server. Also, by using this beautiful netcat tool, I can send certain requests to a server. Let me send a web request to one of the servers out there on the internet. Netcat -b for verbose info.cern.ch, a public website available on the internet. Now you can see the connection is open. That website is listening port 80. So my netcat tool opened a connection to that web server. In this case, can we say my machine is acting as a HTTP client? Yes. So we are going to replace these two tools by using the Python programming. So I'm going to create a couple of programs. One is going to act as a Python client and one is going to act as a Python server. I'm going to explain from the scratch. So just open your web browser. I'm just opening my web browser here. And I am browsing Python. So I'm in the Python website. Before that, I want to confirm the current Python version running on my machine. I'm running Python 3. So Python 3 version. I'm running Python 3.9.2. So when you are in a Python website, you will be able to download the Python document which will be helping you when you are creating a Python program. So when you move to the documentation, you will find the docs tab. In that documentation page to browse by version, I need 3.9.2 and I am going to open that 3.9.2 documentation page. Now I am in the Python 392 documentation page. When you go to the library reference, you will be able to see the list of available modules for Python. Let me hit the modules page. When I hit the modules page, I'll be able to see all the available Python modules here. They alphabetically aligned all those modules. We are going to take certain modules based on our needs and we are going to use that modules. Opening the EC module, date and time. So when I open that module, it will give the detailed information about that. So the date and time module supplies classes for manipulating date and times. Module calendar, module time, and there are 2 other modules related to this. These are all the available classes and functions we can use in our Python programming. So before you are writing the Python, make sure you know to write basic Python programming and its syntax. When I scroll this module, it will give the detailed information about that. They wrote a program by using this module. That is what they gave here. They explained about the date object. These are the different functions. The attributes we can call. You will see a simple program here to type to print the date on the page. Let's move on to the relevant module. Again, I'm going to the modules. To create the Python client and the Python server, a basic one, we have to use the module called sockets. Here it is. I'm opening the Python module. First of all, try to understand what is socket. Socket is nothing but a software structure of network packet. You can just keep in mind like that. On the socket only, you will have the information about the IP address and the port detail. The port and IP detail is binded over the socket. Usually, the network socket will be created and will be running over your network interface card. Whenever you are initiating any traffic, network socket will be created in network interface. So you can just keep in your mind like that. And when I scroll down, I'll be able to know more about the socket. Just know about this parameter is AF underscore. AF depicts address family. AF underscore inet6. It indicates the IPv6 address family. Let's go through the contents of the module. These are the exceptional elements to use while writing the program. Now this AF inet constant represents the IPv4 address family, and mostly we use these two constants. Here they give the explanation. These constants represent the socket types used for the second argument to socket function. More constants may be available depending on the system. Only sockstream and sockdgram appear to be generally useful. So we are going to use sockstream type of socket. When I scroll little further, I'll be getting lot of functions in this. Here is the function to create the socket. If I want to create a socket in my programming language, I need to use this line. This line, socket. Inside the function, we will be calling the arguments, the address family argument and the type, sockstream. This function is very important and we are going to use this function often. These are all the predefined functions, so you can simply call these functions when you are typing, when you are creating a program. You can also create your own functions. Guys, I'm saying again, before start learning this network programming Python, you have to know some prerequisites. Just know about what is function and what is variable, what is value, what is argument, the dictionaries, list, Python, pointers, few other conditional statements. Just know about these things and try to write some simple program by using Python, maybe some numerical programs. Just try to learn that and also know about the syntax in Python. It will be very useful when you are writing this. And a function to create a connection. I'm just scrolling down. I'll be able to see multiple programs, multiple functions here. Here are the objects, socket objects. When I give socket.accept, it will accept the connection. That is what they gave here. And socket.bind. So when I use this object, it will simply bind this socket with the IP address that we give. You can also use port detail here. So we are going to use this object in our program and the socket.close to close the connection. Excuse me, actually it is closing the socket. I would highly recommend you to go through this documentation. It will be very useful when you are creating Python program as a beginner. At the bottom, you will be able to see an example program to create server. So by using this program, we may create a simple Python server. When you execute this program, it will be acting as a server. It will be listening on certain port that you mentioned in the program. And this is the client program. When you execute this, it will be acting as a client. These are all few other programs you may refer. Okay, now we gone through the socket module. In order to write your own program, you would require a integrated development environment program. I mean a simple application to write your program. And for that, I'm using Microsoft created Visual Studio Code, an excellent application you can use to create your code. You can use any language, create the code here. I'm creating a new file and I'll be able to choose the language that I want to write the program. I'm using Python here. Now I am in the Python page, so I'll be able to create my code. When I'm writing this code, I'll also explain the logic behind that, then you'll be able to understand it very clear. And also, when you are writing your own program, it is very important to know the logic behind that, and also you should have the skill apply that logic into your program. Okay, now it is time to write the program. First of all, we saw the socket module in our documentation. we need to bring that module into our program. For that, I'm using import command. Import command is simply going to bring that module into my program, and the module is, when I when I type SO, it gives the predictions. So at the top I can see socket module. You can simply click that. So this is the beauty of Visual Studio Code. I highly recommend to use this. It's very easy to use as a beginner. So I imported the socket here. So now I'll be able to call any predefined function, objects or arguments by using this statement. Now it is time to grab the input from the user. First of all, let me explain the logic here. I am going to create a client program first. Okay, so let me say I'm just having my PC here. Okay, so my PC is going to initiate a connection with a server. Sorry for the diagram. Let's assume it is creating a connection to the server. So in order to create that, my PC's network interface card has to create one socket. So I need to create a socket, obviously, and server side. When my machine wants to make a connection with the server, has to know the server IP address and the server port. This is the mandatory information. So this is the logic. First of all, we need to create the socket, and also we need to get the input from the user. The user has to give to which server he wants to connect with. So let's do that. Now it is time to get the input. First, the server IP. I created a variable server IP, and I am getting input from the user. Get the input from the user, I need to use the function called input and apply the bracket here. I'll give a sentence which will be displayed to the user. Now I got the server IP from the user. Now the server port is listening on the server. Now I got both server IP and port here. It's time to create the socket, and I'm giving a name for the socket. I'm simply giving sock is equal to socket. I'm calling the socket module here. When I click the dot, it will ask for the object. Once again, I'm giving socket, and inside the bracket I need to enter socket and call the object AF underscore inet. Then you need to call the socket type. Again, socket dot sock string. So this is the line to use in order to create the socket. Now, the next thing, we need to connect the socket with our server IP, server port. For that, we need to use certain function, certain object. Let's go to the documentation page, search for keyword connect. Hope you can see here, connect to a remote socket at address. So this is what we are going to use. Now let's use the same here, and for that let's call our socket. Our socket name is SOC. After that, I'm calling connect function. Now inside the bracket I need to mention the address, and the server IP address is mentioned here, server IP. I'm simply mentioning that, and server port, I'm mentioning its variable. Here a small change, the server port, it is an integer value, so I'm just adding the variable type here, and add Now it looks good. Now I got the input from the user and I applied the input inside this connect function. Now the socket connected with this server. Now we need to display the message to the user. I'm simply typing server connected. Okay, now we got connected to the server, and after connecting to the server, a client has to send some message to the server. So that I'm getting that message from the user. So let me give the name message here equal to, I'm using the input function to grab the input from the user. Enter the message here. Okay, well and good. Now I got the input. Now you got the input from the user. Now it is time to insert the message into the socket. In order to do that, we have another dedicated function called sendAll. The sendAll is used to send data to the socket. So we are going to use that. Let's do that. The socket name SOC dot sendAll. When I type this, it gives the predictions. I'm simply choosing that. In the bracket, I need to mention the message that I need to send. I got the message here from the user input. I'm simply calling it argument, and that message, I'm not sending it in the same format. I need to encode that message. For that, I'm just clicking dot. When I click that, it will show a function to encode that message. So I'm simply giving that encode message, and I just enable the encode function. That's it. Now what we need to do, we need to close that socket. In order to close that, I'm simply calling the socket again dot close. When I give this, it will close the connection. After I send the message from this client, the connection will get closed. That's it. We just wrote our program. You can see only few lines. A simple program is going to initiate connection to a server. Now it is time to test this program. In order to do that, I'm opening my shell, bash shell again. I'm simply initiating the netcat. Before that, let me confirm the IP address of my machine. -LV and P flags, and the port I'm using 5000. Now the netcat is listening for port 5000. It is listening in port 5000 and it grabs any traffic approaches. The IP is 192.168.1.193. So it is acting as a server now. So when I click this, the green rectangle, it will run this Python program. Now it is asking the prompt to enter the IP address. I'm giving the IP address over here, 1.193. I gave the IP address and the server port is 5000. There is a problem. What is the error in line 7? Okay, I missed a bracket here. Now it is fine. Saved it. Now let's run the program again. Before that, it is still listening on port 5000. One 192.168.1.193 and port is 5000. Oh, you can see the server is connected and it is asking for the message. Now let me check this. Here I can got the connection from the same host 1.193, but the unknown source port, the random source port it took, my program took. Okay, let's type a message. Please subscribe. Now I sent the message and the connection got closed. When I see the output here, I can see I got the input that I gave to my Python program I received here. So obviously we replaced the netcats server function. Next is Python server program. I'm just going to do the server program. I'm just going to write it a little bit faster. I created a new file calling. Now I'm calling the socket module, and also I'm getting the input from the user. Now let me explain the logic here. It is a server program. Server simply won't initiate any connection. It will simply listening on a certain port. Whenever it gets a connection request, it simply responds to that request. Am I correct? So what we need to do, we simply has to get the IP address. We simply has to know the IP address and the port on which the server is listening. These two information we need to get as the input. So let's get the input from the user. Let's use the same sentence that server IP and the server port. The next, socket creation, socket dot sock string. We successfully created the socket. The next thing we need to do is we have to bind this socket with this IP and the port, because whenever a client requests something, the server has to respond. For that, it has to bind its own IP address and the port with that socket while responding. For that, we are using a function called bind. Let's check the function in our documentation. You can see here, when I use this function, the socket will be binded with this address. Bind the socket to the address. So this is the concept here. Now let's do that. Socket dot bind. Inside the bracket, you need to mention the both server IP and the server port. I'm simply calling that variables here. Server IP, comma, server. Okay, well and good. The next thing, what we need to do next. After binding the server IP and port with the socket, this server has to listen for the incoming connection. For that, we are going to use a function called listen. Let's search function called listen here. You can see here, enable a server to accept connection. So when you call this function, then only the server will be able to accept the incoming connection. If the backlog is specified inside this bracket, you will be able to see an argument called backlog. Must be at least 0, because it is nothing but the number of queued connections at a time. We can mention whatever we want. In my case, I'm simply going to call the socket here, then listen function. Inside the listen function, I am mentioning 1. So when I mentioned 1, it means it enables only one queued session at a time. Server started listening. Let's show it by using a simple message. Done. Now the next thing, when it receives the connection, it has to accept it, right? For that, we need to use another function called accept. But we are going to write this in 2 variables. Let me mention that connection and address. This address is nothing but client address. Client address is connecting with my server, equal to, I'm calling socket dot Now accept function created. Let's study about that. Accept a connection. Socket must be bound to an address and listening for connections. The return value is a pair connection and address. This is what created as a variables. The connection is a new socket object usable to send and receive the data on the connection. So through this connection only we will be receiving the data, and the address is the address bound to the socket to the other end of the connection client. Fine. Now we created a connection. We will be able to read the address by using this function. In order to write that address, simply I am using a print sentence. I am writing address here. Now, as I said, a socket created and a connection like a path established between client and server. So the client has to send some data and receive the response from the server. The server, let's assume the situation from the server. The server has to receive something from the client. If it doesn't receive anything, it has to close that connection. So if it keep receiving the data from the client, then it will keep the connection open. This is the concept here. Now I'm going to use while loop. While loop, I'm not mentioning any condition, simply, and I need to give the colon. When I give the colon and type the enter, just carefully listen this. I scroll down, you can see the cursor is pointing here, not pointing the beginning of the line, because this is called the indentation. From here only you need to define the while statement. So I'm defining the while statement. I'm going to create a variable here, variable called output. The output data that we received from the client. Okay, so I'm just mentioning the variable called output and the connection. I'm going to get the data from this connection only, right? So I'm mentioning connection. Okay, connection dot, I need to receive that. So mention that function receive and apply the bracket here. When you apply the bracket, I'll be able to mention the buffer size, the size of the packet 1024. So it receives 1024 bytes of the packet. Fine. Again, I received 1024 bytes of packet in output. I need to create one more loop. Okay? So the loop is if loop. If not statement, if not output colon, break the if loop. Now I broke the if loop, then it came to the while loop statement. Now I am in the while loop statement, the if loop is broken. If there is no output, there is no value here, simply breaks this. There is nothing in that output variable. We need to send the acknowledgement to the client. In order to do that, using connection variable dot send all, I'm sending an information to the connection before closing it. Message received, typing it in a new line. Okay, now it is time to break the while loop also. This if loop and the statement represents there is no output, I mean the end of the output. Next thing is, we got the output. When something we got in the output variable need to present as a decoded value. For that, I'm mentioning a print statement. inside that I'm calling the output variable dot decoder statement. So I'm just grabbing the data from the connection, so I need to decode it to make it as a human readable format. UTF hyphen to decode. Next is close the connection, calling the connection variable function, close the connection. This is all about server program. I think here we need to add more bracket pair. Fine. Now I saved this program. It is time to execute this program and enable our server. First let's enable the server, then we will give the request from the client. To do that, I am simply giving the triangular mark here, E2168 1.190. Now it is fine. Permission denied. Since we got the permission denied message, I need to execute the program that I created from the console. I need to use sudo. So I am using sudo. So this is the folder where I kept my programs. Now let me execute that. I am using sudo python 3 and simple python server. This is it. I need to enter the server IP 193 and I am listening on port 77. The server started listening. You can notice the message. Let me initiate the netcat and raise a request. Port 77. Now I can see connection is open. Address of the client, the random port. Now I can type some message here. Please subscribe. When I give here, it shows the message received. And yeah, this is all I had to share with you. I highly recommend to go through this Python documentation, which will be very useful, and use that Visual Studio Code application, create your own code. So time to learn the Python. It will also be helpful when you are creating the network automation programs. I hope you enjoyed this video. You learned something new from this video. If this video really helped you, then please consider subscribing my channel, and also you can like the video, you can share this video among your friends who are still BS script kiddie, so it will be very helpful for them. And yeah, I'll reach you another time with another exciting video. Until then, see you, bye.